Hello, my name is Laura, and today we are going to watch a few clips from the movie Finding Nemo and talking about lifelong learning. Today's seminar is titled Just Keep Swimming: Lifelong Learning Lessons from Finding Nemo. Who am I? My name is Laura, and I'm a counselor with Florida Homestead Check. I'm privileged to run this discussion today on lifelong learning strategies from the movie Finding Nemo. First, I want us to play an icebreaker, and during this seminar, I would have we would play the icebreaker called Find the Commonality. I'd have the group, depending on how many there were, get into groups of 2 or 3. The goal is to find something you both have in common. It can't be something really obvious or simple, such as I love to eat or I went to high school. Those are very obvious. So it'd have to be something a little more specific, and they would have to narrow it down. When the time goes off, each group will share their commonality, and then they will discuss it as a whole group as to what they learned from speaking to each other, learning about one another. And so I feel like it's a great way to open up any seminar, any meeting, is to have a nice, good icebreaker. So here's today's seminar agenda. Title is Just Keep Swimming: Lifelong Learning Lessons from Finding Nemo. The format is videos, discussions, and breakout sessions. The time will be from 10 a.m. to 11:30. The location is the conference room at Florida Homestead Check on the 2nd floor. Topics: the first one discusses what a lifelong learner is. Second is we take some key terms and some situations with the movie Just Keep Swimming. We're interpreting as just keep learning, but also being persistent. Not much fun for little Harpo. This talks about taking risks, and there's some other ideas that we'll discuss as well. So the way the time will go from 10 o'clock to 10:10 will be an introduction and icebreaker. 10:10 to 11 o'clock would be the lifelong learning seminar. This will include watching the videos, but also pausing to talk about it and have a discussion with the group. At this point, at 11 o'clock, we'll have a quick bathroom stretch break, and then I would love for them to have a breakout session from 11:10 to 11:20, about 10 minutes of talking about some questions that I will present to them. And then for the last 10 minutes, we'll have a quick discussion takeaway from the seminar. So this is the agenda. So a lifelong learner. So we'll discuss what a lifelong learner is, and there is a site that discusses this. What is lifelong learning? It is the continuous quest to seek knowledge through formal and informal education. And then we talk about lifelong learning is about creating and maintaining a positive attitude. Lifelong learners are motivated to learn and develop because they want to. So it's something that they have to be deliberate about. They have to plan it. They can't just hope that it happens. They need to pick up a book. They need to read. They need to watch something. They need to learn a hobby. They need to plan things out to be a deliberate lifelong learner. It's a voluntary act. Lifelong learning can enhance our understanding of the world around us, provide us with more and better opportunities, and improve our quality of life. So at this point, we would watch the 2 clips, and just for now, I'm going to show just the 1 clip.
Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Dory, no singing.
Oh,
Dory.
I love to swim in.
Dory.
When you want to swim, you want
See,
to
I'm gonna
keep
get stuck now with that song. Now it's in my head.
Sorry.
Okay, and so this first video we're talking about, she's telling Marlin that when life gets down or life gets hard, that you need to keep swimming. You need to persist through. So as a lifelong learner, that's also something you have to do, just like it's not an involuntary thing or it's something that just happens. You have to persist. You have to be persistent in your learning. And over here in this video, I won't show it because it's about 3 minutes long. However, we would show the whole video and we would talk about the video. What happens in this scene, Nemo and Marlin are reunited at the end, but then all these fish are being captured and Dory gets stuck in the netting. Well, Nemo has learned a trick. He's learned how to get the fish out of the net. So he's asking his dad to trust him. At this point, his dad does trust him. and they start singing "Just Keep Swimming," and what it is they're being persistent in pushing down the net until they all escape. So it's kind of it's interesting. You have the beginning "Just Keep Swimming" clip, and then the later "Keep Swimming" clip, and they're actually doing they're actually living that out. So I thought that was an interesting lesson there. So let's go to the next one.
Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills.
Okay, so what we can learn from Dory. So just keep swimming. Dory tells Marlin to cheer up and keep swimming. When we have clients that turn us down, we have to continue to work and press through. We must be persistent. Persistence is key. If we're persistent in our endeavors, we can continue to grow and learn our clients and best practices. So I brought this, since this is a seminar at work, we are talking about lifelong learners. We're also talking about lifelong learners in the workplace. So I brought in talking about, working with our clients and working with, customers that we talk to on the phones, or the customers that we see every day in our workflow, and just being persistent and being positive, and that's what we were learning from Dory here. And then in the second video, like I mentioned before, it shows Nemo exhibiting something he learned to do in the fish tank. He learned a valuable lesson in teamwork, which saved the fish from the net. So again, this relates to working as a team, but it's also something that we have to learn, that takes time over time to learn to work as a team and to persist and to not give up. So that's what we take away from Dory here. This scene is where they're looking for directions. They're lost, and Marlin's stressing out and freaking out as he usually does. And Dory's saying, well, why don't we just stop for directions? Let's just give it a shot and hope for the best. And that's the main line that I'm taking from that, aside from not much fun for little Harpo. And she's saying that Marlin's so scared of things as he's living in fear of letting anything happen to his son. And she says, well, if you don't let anything happen to him, then nothing will ever happen. So that won't be fun for him. He won't have a life if he doesn't ever have to learn lessons, or if he doesn't activate his potential to learn. So I took that from this scene, and we're not going to watch it. So lessons from the whale, because they're within the whale at this point. So during the scene, Marlin must rely on Dory's ability to speak to whales, even though he doesn't think she can. But he realized that he was projecting his fears onto her, and as he had been doing to Nemo. So when it's time to get out of the whale, it tells them to let go. But again, Marlin is driven by fear. We can't be driven by fear when we're working with our clients. We need to go in and do the best we can and truly hope for the best, and be okay to let go of things that are causing that fear. And again, I believe this is part of lifelong learning, because we learn that when we are driven by fear, it holds us back from doing the things that we want to do. So part of growing and part of learning is to let things go and just hope that they're going to work out and hope for the best. Okay, so at this point, this would be the conclusion of that. We would have discussions on each of those slides, but at this point, we'd break out to a breakout session. I would have the group split into two and discuss the following questions, and maybe even smaller groups depending on how many people are in there. What is a lifelong learner? Have you exhibited lifelong learning lately? What is the benefit of lifelong learning? What other lessons can be taken from Finding Nemo? What will you do this week to learn something new, either work or personal? So we would have this breakout session, and then we would come together for the last few minutes and just have a few takeaways, maybe talk about the things that they would do that week that would be different. So that would conclude the seminar for that day. And here's the meeting layout. Over on the left here, you have the screen. This will be where we have the PowerPoint projected. This is a table everyone sits, and that's just a plant right there. But the room basically looks like this, so they could sit together, or maybe they can move the chairs off into other sides, and so they could have more of a personal discussion. So that is my seminar. Thank you.